Hello guys and welcome to Hackman Traders. In this video I'll be showing to you guys how to recognize good and bad news for certain stocks. Now there are many ways that you can recognize good news and bad news. Like there are many news that arises when you're trading in the stock market. So when you're living in this world, there are many news that arises when you're like walking and you're talking. So how to know that for in the stock market, how to know that certain news is good or bad while trading stocks. So in order to recognize the good and bad news for your stocks, like in the stock that you have invested, just do one thing, that take a look at your stocks and hear the news and see if that news has some positive aspects relating to the stocks, like that news has a positive sign or something, a positiveness, like if it is relating to the stock in your relating to the sector that in which you have bought the stocks. Now let's say if you have bought petroleum stocks relating to the petroleum sector. So uh, keep uh, keep your ears open, like hear carefully of the news, like whether they are positively affect that sector, or they negatively affect that sector. If it affects positively, like the for example, I would say that petroleum imports rises, like petroleum exports and imports rises in some form, like if it's a good news, that you will have to recognize those news. If the petroleum imports rises, the petroleum production rises, then it is a great news. There will be more sale. Like if the sale rises, there will be more sale for the there will be more sale of petrol, and its prices would rise. So in this form, this is a good news for the stock that you'll have to recognize. Now for more detail, like let's say relating to the banking sector, if the prices of the let's say if you bought stocks in a certain bank, and let's say the interest rates, the banks announce that they will decrease their interest rate by certain percentage. So that is a good news as well. If the if the banking sector announces that they will increase their interest rates. Now this is bad news. Like the petrol, like the what do you say, like the stock prices of the banks would rises. So that's a bad news that which you do not want to hear. So these are certain news that you will have to hear while trading in the certain stocks. So you will have, in this manner, you will have to recognize, you will have to bind the chain of what can happen when this thing, like what will happen if this news arises. So in this manner in this manner you will have to recognize good news, and in this manner you will have to recognize bad news as well, because both can affect the stocks in some form. So you'll have to be prepared for that as well. So in order to for you to recognize these stocks. Now beside those as well, these these are all you might call it fundamental analysis based on news, based on the surroundings, your environment. So you'll recognize the stocks. You'll have to like trade stocks on the basis of these on the basis of news. So hear out the news carefully of what the news say. There are like I said, positive news and negative news as well, which you'll have to recognize like day in and day out. So for effective trading, you will have to recognize those stocks. Now there was certain time, like where was it, I don't exactly remember. Let me load another chart. I will show you how the stock was affected by that news. Now if the news is related, like it's a political news relating to politics, and it's a bad news, then the stock would definitely be affected by that as well. So where was it? I guess it was October. No, not here. I don't. I'm not quite sure where it was, but it was somewhere here. Yes, I guess. Yes, it was. What it is it? Yes, it was right here. So you can see this dip happened, appeared because of the political news, like the bad political condition in our country. So one of our politicians got arrested for this, in this area, like in these dates, and due to his his arrest, the stock price declined, and after that the stock price increased in value, and I've sold the stock at this point. And later on, what date was it? 2310, like the end of the, like let's say 20th of October, and let's say 20th of October and 610, like about a year. Look at the stock price. Like I bought at this point, it was 610 2020. What was the price? 14.90. And take a look at it over here. Take a look at it here. Now what was the stock price at this point? 49.30. So this was the stock price. So this much it had risen. So I've made a mistake of selling it at this point. If I hold on to this stock and did use the trailing stops method, I would have sell the stock at this point, and I would have made a decent profit. So nearly doubled my profit. So this was the first mistake I made. Now let's not make another mistake. Now these are certain stocks that I'm holding on right now, because I know these stocks would grow in value and they will increase in value. So based on the news, based on the internal, now let's say if the COVID-19 cases rises, the stocks would also be affected by that news as well. So you'll be prepared for every aspect, when you're trading in the stock market. And that's it for today. Hope you guys are enjoying my videos and want to learn more about the stock market or the forex market. All I need you is to support my channel by hitting that subscribe button and comment down below, as your feedback is valuable for me. Goodbye.